Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trader Minute. It's great to have you aboard. I'm Carl. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And quite a day out there, huh, in the market. Looking at the futures here, they've dropped off here in the last little while. Pretty good slide this morning. When I first saw them, everything was just flat. Okay, well, we had some reports come out. The GDP came out. Now, this is a rearward, looking in the rearview mirror type of report, right? But they're saying that the U.S. economy grew faster than expected. It grew at 3.6% versus what was reported earlier at 2.8%. So much faster than expected. Plus, today, jobless claims out, not unemployment, but the number of Americans filing for new claims for unemployment claims fell by 23,000 last week. So, again, it's the old bad news is good news is bad news thing for the market. Right now, today, typically one day ahead of the uh, the jobs report, it's normally flat. All right, if the market does sell off a little bit today, then it just worried about maybe a really good report tomorrow. Now, yesterday was quite a day. Wow, that was an amazing day to watch. The Bears tried to take it a couple times, didn't they? First thing in the morning, the market gapped down some. Then we had the report come out, and the housing report come out. It hadn't been that good in 33 and a half years. The future, I mean, everything, the market rallies, goes way up, and then what happens? It slowly rolls over, and rolled over pretty hard. It rolled over hard, down double digits at one point, to rally back into the close, and ended up just down 2 points. It was a pretty amazing day to watch, and yeah, the buy the dipper crowd seems to be still out there. But if that's the thing, if we got this jobs report out tomorrow, if it's a great number for some reason, if it's a really good number, then it just could increase the odds of a taper. And so that's what the market's worried about. All right. So again, today, the day ahead of the market, ahead of the jobs number is normally fairly flat because not a lot of traders, investors want to do a whole lot just before a jobs number like that. Okay. So now I've seen a little bit in the chat room a little bit this morning, and the news is Apple, right? Apple, they got that deal with China Mobile, and what a deal! Holy cow! China Mobile has what, 740 million subscribers. Just their subscribers is twice the population of the United States. It's 7 times larger than Verizon, which is the largest U.S. mobile network. Okay, so that's the deal to have. If you're going to have any deal in the world, that would be the one to have if you're Apple, with 740 million subscribers. So the iPhones, they've got a 4G network, and they're expected to be released into their network on December 18th. Okay. So, wow, pretty amazing. Apple pre-market. Uh, Last night it closed at 565. This morning it's going to open up around the 572 to 573 range. And I know a lot of you guys were in Apple, and congratulations. That's right, Darren. All right. So Win, seen it going through this morning. It's set to gap up slightly this morning, which is a good number. A good thing to see it coming. And Kramer just plugged Rad. Okay. If anybody's still in Rad, that it might have the Kramer effect. It might jump up a little bit. Typically, the Kramer effect, and he even he watches it as well. It'll jump up based on him saying buy, 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 or whatever he's saying about it, and then run back lower. So if you happen to be in Rad, if that happens, then take a nice little gain. But overall, Rad's been having a nice little uptrend, and breaking up above the $6 mark, which is pretty positive for a little stock in that price range. Okay, some upgrade downgrade news. CF. CF was upgraded to neutral by Goldman Sachs. I laugh because, to neutral? Wow. They were also downgraded by Scotia Capital. All right, so there was another downgrade as well on it, but really smaller firms doing the downgrades. A little bit of a, not the best upgrade in the world, but an upgrade by, probably one of the biggest out there at Goldman Sachs. Okay, Citi and Morgan Stanley were downgraded to hold by Deutsche Bank. Okay. So the market is off and running now. Let me go over here and let's head over to stock charts. Just want to see where the market's open. Down 2, okay, which tells me fair value is about 2. Fair value was down about, the futures were down about 4 or so, just ahead of the open. So the fair value is about 2 down this morning. All right, so if we jump over to Win, look at our position, down 35 cents. Now pre-market, this was up quite a bit, but earlier on in the day like this, nothing to worry about here technically at all. All right. Another stock was downgraded to an outperform, and that's one of those, what, downgraded to outperform, probably from a strong buy or something, is ExxonMobil. It's seen a lot of strength here coming off a little bit of a bottom, but there's a little bit of a downgrade today. It looks like it's going to testing the 94 range and the 7-day moving average on it. And Raymond James did that downgrade. Valero was upgraded to an outperform over at Macquarie, and they're jumping up above the 7 this morning. They've had looks like some big time volume coming in here as it gapped down that day. And then Union Pacific was upgraded to a strong buy by Raymond James, and it's up about $1 early on like this today. All right, well, let's go check out Apple. See what they're doing. Up $5, up 1%. They were up a little bit more than that pre-market, about 1.5, close to 2%, but up 5 now. That's amazing. I see a lot of bullishness for Apple as this rolls out over there in China. That's a big deal. And the other one that was involved in this, right, was China Mobile, up 7 cents. Freezing rain again, Darren. Ouch. Yeah, so watch both of these today, and let's see what's going to happen here. Apple's going to get the huge boost. All right, let's see what Kramer's been doing. He hit RAD, and it's down 6 cents. Technically this is just consolidating back to the 7 right now. If this drops through the 7, if you happen to be in it and holds that, then I'd exit. But it's way too early to call anytime soon here. Win up 53 cents. Okay, all right, up 53 cents. It's really early to call. All the technicals here, very strong technical setup here. Really like what we're doing here with Win. All right, let's look at some of those stocks that we talked about yesterday in the top 3. And this was Walgreens. Pre-market, I saw it down over $1. It's down 17 cents. But, off to a good start. Slight gap down. And you'd want this to come down into that $56 range is where I'd look for this to go. Now remember, this is Walgreens. They've got earnings on the 20th. I would keep this a shorter term trade. I wouldn't stay in this too long because ahead of earnings, you just don't know what's going to happen. All right. And then one of the other ones we talked about was Yahoo. And Yahoo gapped up slightly, running up a little bit. That's a positive sign. And remember Yahoo, it was a bull vibe. So I bring in the vibe here. Had everything rising for it, right? All of the averages rising. We had the indicators rising. A big push up off through through the 7 and up off of it like that. I'm breaking through support there. I mean, sorry, some resistance there at 37 and pushing a little bit higher today. That's what you want to see on that. All right, and we're getting some follow through on it. And then the other one was Nucor. Same type of a situation. It was a bull vibe entrance, and looking for this thing to run back up. It's got a nice, had the big volume yesterday. It appears to be wanting to do another leg higher here. Price, you could stay in this till it gets closes below the 7. Would be a stop for it if it's when it starts to run up like this. Right at around the 53 range, maybe the 54 range, but it closes back 11. Max, good question. And last night I said 170. Right, this is a $167 stock. For this to go another 250 is not a big deal. The price target on this, if you look in the notes that I sent out last night, I made a mistake on that. It's 180. It's 180 the price target here. This at 170, it's going to give us about a dollar move in the option price. Right, so 180 is the price target here. And again, $167 stock for this to push up like that is not that big a deal. It's maybe not even 10% for this to push up like that. So the price target here, 180. Yeah, I mean, I got looking at this and I got some emails last night asking me, hey, I'm doing an options calculator here. I was looking at 170 in my mind when I was saying 170 is a price target. And it's 180. Again, a high dollar stock like this to go that far is just, it's not much. It can hit that easily. Today, it could hit 170. And it's not going to pay. When we get up that 180 range, we're gonna have about 100% on the trade. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks, Max. I put that in the notes last night, and you'll find it if we go down to underneath trades and go into that. We changed that in there as well. Price target on it is 180. Yeah, I mean it's off to a good start and running like that. So loving it so far. I always like to buzz around the financials, see what the financials are doing in the morning. Bank of America down 5 cents. Looks like a Goldman's, J.P. Morgan, and Wells Fargo. All right, kind of mixed, but really overall very, very flat. Look at the IWM. IWM. IWM this morning just flat as well. Okay, so the bank's flat. The S&P just holding steady right now. All right, so looking at the market here, is dip below the 7. And remember, the 7-day average, we move it, we look at it all the time, and it's not a magical number. It's just we could use 6 or 5 or 8, but overall we're comfortable with the 7. Stocks just tend to gravitate to it. And if it drops below, it doesn't mean we're getting bearish and we're going to run out and buy puts. It just means the bullish moves aren't going to be quite as strong if we're looking at stock, the overall market. But it just takes away from the bullish nature for a while, and we're looking for that next push higher for the entrances, the bullish entrances. Good job, Frank. Good job. Okay, some of the other stocks out there we've been looking at lately. We had Freeport McMoran a while ago, and yesterday it went up, looked like it was going to go up through that 7, and then push back down below it. Right, and it's down 27 cents right now. If this drops through the 34 mark, it's going to be off and running towards the 33 mark. Right, but overall, this still looks bearish. Walmart. Yeah, closed below the 7, gapping down today 53 cents. Now it's early. It might try to reverse right here, but if it's in a trade right here, I'd give it a little bit of time. If it doesn't, and 80 right there is pretty important for me too. If this can't come up back up there to 80 and get it back above 80 sometime today, I wouldn't stay in Walmart too much longer if I was bullish on it. It's too early to get bearish on it. It's just one little pullback on a nice run like that. Probably some profit taking coming in. All right. Nucor, Okay, up 17 cents. We looked at that yesterday. It's one of my top three. Uh, Cliffs Natural Resources. Okay, this pushed above the 7 yesterday. So what that does, what would be a nice bearish entrance for the bears if this pushes back below 25 and back below the 7? That would be a positive sign that's going to go down. If this holds this range right here at 25, then there's a chance that 25 might be locked in as support once again. It's been a little bit of support for it right through this area, right through here. Dropped below one day, went right back up the next day, held it yesterday, holding it again so far. But if it drops back below 25 right there, the bearish nature would come back. Yeah, let's go check out Google. Yeah, you're right. This, if you get a candle like yesterday that can close at the highs, right, if I zoom in on this a little bit here, so I'll just draw it in there, right? You know me, I like to play around and draw. You get a candle that looks like something like that, where it's closing above this high right here. You get a candle that's closing in above the high from this little candle up here, pushing up through the 7, pushing up through the little the area of resistance right there. You got something going on Google. And with Google, it jumps in 20-point increments. The 20 points, it could hit those. Last time it went 20 points in a couple days. Over here, same thing. $20 on $1,000 stock is just not that much. It sounds like a giant move, but for that type of that dollar of a stock, it's just not that much. So when there it goes, off and running. Okay, shh. It's a fishing show. Hey, you been out fishing lately? It's too cold to fish out here in Utah. Man, it's we're in single digits this morning. I've done a little ice fishing in my day, but all right. So up $9 here on Apple. Now, if you look at that candle, it's way early, right? A little bit of a yeah. You're right, Vegas. That candle is an example of a dragonfly doji, but don't, I mean, things change here on Google, on Apple today. Things changed. I wouldn't worry about a little candle pattern like that with the news they got today. But it's so early. There's no way. There's a good chance this is just going to rally today. Real good chance. Nice, Joyce. Congratulations. That's a nice move. If you're looking at, let me bring in the Bollinger Bands. It's still in that upper band. It's been in the upper band ever since it broke out on this day over here. Ever since then. It's never closed back inside. And with the news they got, it might not close back inside for a while. I'm knocking on wood. All right. So this would be one to watch, and if it keeps riding that upper band, stay in it until it's in the upper band. I wouldn't use the 7. The 7's just too far away from it in here. And yeah, when it gets quite a ways away from it like that, there's a chance of consolidation. But you'd notice it's been a long ways away from that 7 since the second day of the bull, the trend rider bull signal. It's been a long ways away from it. Okay, just there's chances there it could pull back, but with the news they got, on it, then this is a fundamental move, and it could just keep going. Yeah, just wait till they start selling iPhones over there, and some initial reports start coming in of how many they're selling. I mean, if they, I'm just laughing because 740 million people, 1% of those, a lot more than 1% of those people are going to buy iPhones. Uh, Holy cow! So that's a lot of iPhones being sold. Right. So again, some of the early reports I read on Apple, if they got before they got the deal, and it looked like it was going to go through, but hadn't been officialized yet. We're saying that Apple could go up into 550 to 560 range based on it. It's not going to go not 650 and 650 and 6 to 670 range. It's better than $100 higher. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to go straight there, right? It's going to have its days where it's rally as the euphoria sets in, and then it'll have some pullbacks. It'll give us opportunities to get back in. I remember Apple was trading in double digits, and a friend of mine bought Apple when it was about $40 a share, and I lost track of him. He had he'd put $40,000 into the trade. He's a doctor friend of mine. He put 40,000 in the trade. He bought probably 1,000 shares of Apple at $40, and then Apple hit 500. And I ran into him and said, "Hey, you still have your Apple shares?" He laughed and says, "Oh, when it hit 300, I had to just get out. I didn't think it was going any higher." And he still did really well. But it's fun to look back at those days, right? When you can see these stocks that were single digits, sometimes double digits. Yeah. Uh, Southwest Airlines, I like how you said that. Drops like this, it's trying to hang on to 18. If this dips below 18, it's going to be bearish. It'd probably come down here to the lower Bollinger Band. But watch it. It's early on. It's a little bit of a bounce so far. Okay. Now, Verizon, right, that's a stock that was on my top three a little while ago. You guys probably know better than me. But yeah, yesterday that big ugly candle went pushed up trying to go higher and rolled back by the end of the day. It's just kind of bearish action off that 7, and today it's dropping below 49. If it holds through this 49 level, there's a chance it could come. Really, the next decent level of support below it is about 48. But this is one of those stocks. It's in the lower Bollinger Band. If it stays in that lower Bollinger Band, stay in. Right? Um, so yeah, good. Nice. I hope you got into that MGF. All right, everybody. I'm just reading through the chats here. Yeah, it could. I mean, the lower gap there, way down to the 47 range. But yeah, I mean, if you're in a trade like that on Verizon, then just stay in until it closes back inside. Bristol Myers, thanks for bringing that up. Top three from a couple days ago, I believe, 2 3 days ago. Time goes by when you're having fun. Down 3 cents. This is still a weak move, and yesterday's candle was weak. It stayed basically was pretty much flat yesterday after it gapped down, ran higher, and finished up what maybe a few cents. And where this action today, where it's just opening flat, still below the 7. You get it pushed back into that lower Bollinger Band. It's going down towards the 50, even the 49 range is where that's headed. With Win, we're expecting this to go to about the 180 range. I know that you are in Las Vegas Sands, aren't you, AK? If I remember right, I know some of you guys got into the Las Vegas Sands. Mike, good question. And I'm sorry, I saw that earlier in the chat. I'm glad you brought that in here. I was preparing my remarks this morning, so I was busy. Mike asked if I scan in order to find when or what type of parameters. We do have scans that will do that, and we can give a training on those. Jeff gave one a little while ago on those scans that we use. We use just stockcharts.com. We have a paid monthly service that we use. Again, we're not affiliated with Stock Charts. We love them. If you go sign up, it does nothing for us. Okay, okay. Well, but I found when we've been following the casino stocks for a long time. Those of you who've been with us for a while know that we've been watching Las Vegas Sands. I think we played Las Vegas Sands a few months ago. Uh, don't think it went our way, but it looked like a breakout and it was filled. But every day I go through probably 100 plus stocks, and thanks, Frank. Just looking through, just from memory. But the scans we use to find the ones that I don't get, and sometimes I find the ones that the scan doesn't pick up. So that's why I always go through the knocks and not just rely on scans because they don't always find. Sometimes they find stocks. I'm wondering why they're there, and other times they don't find them and they should be there. Okay, but no, I found Win just because I follow it, and that's some of the stocks I go through every single day. Okay. Um, And again, I will talk to Jeff and we'll see if we can't get a training to put that together for you and what type of parameters we use for these different setups. All right. I'm still here. Hang on just a sec. Felt a cough coming on. All right. So with Walgreens, yeah, there it goes. I mean, just it's still early. It's dropping. It's very nice right now. And I'd watch this down to the 56 range. Um, I'd consider this a shorter term trade. It's got earnings on it, but a week or so ahead of earnings, stocks can do funny things. But I wouldn't stay in this too long. If it comes down to 56, I couldn't argue just getting out and taking what you got if you got into this. And if you did, nice work. LinkedIn got calls here. So it's below the 7. Watch for a move above here. It's been ranging, for a few weeks here between 215 and about 225. What you want to see here is this thing to break up that break through the 7 today to stay bullish. I'm not bearish on it, but it's not, it's just kind of going sideways right now. It's in this channel. If it can get up through the 220 mark, it's going to be a good sign, but the real test for it's going to be 225. And the bands are just right up there as well. So watch it. If it starts to run back down and stay back below the 7, yeah, this is just one of those channeling stocks, and it's going to be hard to say when it's going to break the channel and if it's going to break the channel. Eventually it will, but which way? If it's above the 7, there's the odds that it could break to the upside, but it's got that 225 mark is going to be the tester. It could be when they start to channel like this, it's just tough to call which way it's going to go. And sometimes, if you look at the Bollinger Bands, you know how to play these Bollinger Bands. Sometimes when you see the center band there, the little dotted line, that's a 20-day average. We just use the typical settings here for the Bollinger Bands, the normal ones that just come up with it. 20-day moving average is what that is, and 2 standard deviations away from it. And a lot of times when it's in the upper, just above the 20, and starts to run, there's a good chance it could break to the upside, but it can fake. If the bands are contracted like they are right now and just flat, that can be resistance on it. If when they start to expand, that's why when we're looking at trend riders, we always want the bands to be expanding, like right over here. The bands are expanding like that. The price tends to flow with the bands. If the bands are contracting right through here, you notice it can be resistance. Over here, see when the band started to expand, well, that's when the stock started to go. When they contract, it's when they tend to be support and resistance. All right, so that's a quick lesson on the Bollinger Bands. So this will be one of those watch and wait. I'd love to see this get back above the 7 to stay bullish on it, but when it's going flat, it's hard to say which way it's going to break out, right? And then that when I think of a big channel, I think of Deere. It had this channel since July. We played a breakout over here, which failed, and then they got the news yesterday, and everything broke loose. Everything changed on that once they got the news. Okay. Wind still running here. As far as getting out again, we're expecting. Where are we at right now? We're about one. We're sitting about just under 170 right now, 8 cents under 170. So we're expecting another $10 move in this. The reward potential isn't quite as much there, right? So you'd be paying a little bit more for it. Maybe you could go. I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe if you could go into the 170s or something like that right now, shorter term, and play it higher. But I wouldn't be surprised, of course, if it pulls back a little bit during the day, like a lot of times stocks will pull back a little bit during the day, and that might give you a little bit better opportunity. If I went in and looked at let's go look at the, minute charts here. So here's the minute charts. 1 minute. 2 minute. 3 minute. 4 minute. 5 minute. 6 minute. 7 minute. 8 minute. 9 minute. 10 minute. 11 minute. 12 minute. 13 minute. 14 minute. 15 minute. 16 minute. 17 minute. 18 minute. 19 minute. 20 minute. 21 minute. 22 minute. 23 minute. 24 minute. 25 minute. 26 minute. 27 minute. 28 minute. 29 minute. 30 minute. 31 minute. 32 minute. 33 minute. 34 minute. 35 minute. 36 minute. 37 minute. 38 minute. 39 minute. 40 minute. 41 minute. 42 minute. 43 minute. 44 minute. 45 minute. 46 minute. 47 minute. 48 minute. 49 minute. 50 minute. 51 minute. 52 minute. 53 minute. 54 minute. 55 minute. 56 minute. 57 minute. 58 minute. 59 minute. 60 minute. 61 minute. It's pulled back here a little bit. It's starting to run back up. This is what you'd be looking for, and that's only $1 here on win. It could get you a few cents lower there as far as options, not a whole lot. But you could watch for a little bit of a pullback during the day and see if you can't time an entrance. Again, we're going to play this up another $10 higher than the 170 mark, so it's got a way to go. Good, thanks, Joyce. Autodesk, yeah, still a nice looking chart. Had a bull vibe entrance. Now this wasn't, you just brought this up. This wasn't one of my top threes, but it could have been. Looking at the chart, it's a nice chart because one of the things I do, right, I'm always looking for trend and vibe entrances, but I always try to put as many odds in favor as I can. Okay, and this is the one we looked at a couple days ago. This is a chart pattern, I mean a candle pattern, right? You got a big, what's called a Maribozu candle right here, big strong candle like that, and then you got some pullbacks here. This is called a three methods rising pattern. This is a variation of it. There's like five days here where it went sideways, and then when it breaks out, stay right here. When it broke out and closed, it's pretty close. Definitely yesterday. It's for the pattern to confirm. It's got to close back above the high of this big opening candle right here. Comes back. You want it to close above this point, and the candle is confirmed. But you also have a bull vibe entrance, right? Everything's rising. You don't need the volumes, and you can see this doesn't have the major volumes. You don't need them. The stock's already in an uptrend. It's telling you, all the signals here are telling you, hey, it's going to go higher, and guess what? It's still going higher. So if the Bollinger Bands, I don't think it's in the bands. Nope, it's just below it. But what you do here is just use the 7. As long as it stays above the 7, you can stay in the trade and see where it takes you. At this point, 46, a couple dollars higher. I wouldn't be surprised to see up in the $50 range, but it doesn't mean it's going to be all in one shot. Yeah, Google is still looking to run here, breaking out like that. Okay, I'm going to end the video here, and we can get back on and look at some charts if you'd like to. Okay, thanks for joining us this morning on Trader Minute, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, bye.